So what are we going to talk about? In this training, we are going to go over some of the tips for healthier eating. And I always say healthier eating because I don't believe there's anything, any such thing as healthy eating. That whole clean eating stuff, like I get the premise of it, but at the end of the day, you do still have to enjoy what you're eating in order to stick with the plan and with the routine. If you're constantly just eating things that have nothing in them that you enjoy, you're not going to be successful because you're not going to like it, period. Go over some tips for how you measure your progress and success. It's not just about that scale. That's not what's going to help you. But I'll also, since we're talking about losing weight, I will highlight some of those hidden calories that you may not even realize you are consuming that are adding to the weight that you are gaining. But then, of course, I don't believe in just providing, talking about problems. I do like to provide solutions as well, all right? So this first tip that I'm going to share with you all is the first thing that I did, and it is very, very, very effective. And the first tip was simply just to use a smaller plate. Doing this is purely psychological. When you have a larger space, whether it's a plate, a cup, or even a room, you feel the need to fill that space with just stuff. So when you see this bigger plate like you see on the left, your mind is telling you that you just need to add more. So when you want to minimize how many calories you're consuming, just something as simple as using a smaller plate is going to help you. Because filling that smaller plate, when you look at that plate on the right, you tell yourself, oh, this is enough because my plate is full. Now, this is the thing. In order for this to work, and I'm not saying that you need to use a little bitty teacup saucer or anything like that, but just a smaller plate, because we know that when we go to the stores, you can get huge plates, you can get regular plates, you get semi-small plates, you get dessert plates, they come in multiple sizes. But try to use, there's no such thing as try, but buy and use the smaller plates. Now, when you do that, that does not mean that you eat what's on this smaller plate and then you go back for seconds and thirds, right? We don't do that. Don't do that because then that's counterproductive. It is a process to train your body that you only need so much, but looking at this plate, if I'm looking, and I want you all to tell me if you feel the same or if you even thought it. If you're looking at the plate on the left, would you be more inclined, and I'm talking about the bigger plate, would you be more inclined to add more food to it? And I'm curious to hear what you would say, because when I see that, I say, oh, I can add a little more to this because there's still more space. Now, also what I want to point out as far as things being psychological, based on what you see, when you are cooking your meals, right? After you've cooked, and if you made a lot, right? Especially like we can do for spaghetti, right? You can, no matter how hard you try to eyeball it, you always end up with way more spaghetti than you planned on making, right? So whenever you've cooked and you've made a lot of food, after you make your plate for what you plan to consume, put the extra stuff away immediately. Put it in the Tupperware, let it cool off before you put it in the refrigerator. But if you allow that food to sit on your stove and you walk by it, you say, you know what, there's a little bit more, so I'll go ahead and eat it. And then you go in and you grab a fork, and you grab an extra bite or two. But when you put it away, out of sight is out of mind. And it will also give your stomach the time that it needs to digest the food that you've already consumed. Now, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but it takes your body about 20 minutes to acknowledge that it has had enough food. So if you ever get to the point where you're eating and you get full while you're eating, that means you have eaten way too much. You just went too far. All right? So what do you...
It's fun.